there is no way on earth that this creates anything other than a monopoly. That's why it's in the state's constitution. You can't have legislative action amend the state constitution.
No, but anybody else could bring another amendment.
I understand.
And they could repeal this one, too.
And we see how difficult it has been to get this amendment. Ohioans have shot it down 4 times. The casino operators have spent tens of millions of dollars. So to sort of dismissively say that, well, you know, if we want more casinos, the governor can act on a whim or the legislature can act on a whim, that's why it's being put into the state's constitution, because it is exceedingly difficult to come up with the money and get all the things necessary to change this constitution. If they're interested in just having it so it can be open, let's just do this through legislative initiative. Amending the state constitution is not something to be taken lightly. It's not something easily done.
I'll ask Ohioans one more time. If this doesn't pass in 15 days with a huge budget, with the credibility of people who've done the right thing in Ohio, with the kind of local partners, with the kind of urban core initiatives, with the kind of new construction that is absolutely required by the amendment, when will it come to Ohio? When do you believe it'll come to Ohio? Do you think the legislature and the governor are going to have the political will to bring you world-class, full-blown casinos that create 34,000 jobs, that create $650 million a year initially in tax money, that create $11 billion of economic activity over a 5-year period? When's it going to happen? What's your confidence level? Ask yourself that question.
It'll happen.
Before you answer, Jay, let me ask, sir, if we were to lose this, if you were to lose this, are you going to be back in 12, back in 13?
You know, I saw Bernie Kosar on the way in on the elevator, and by the way, he won the coin flip for me for going first to second. True story. I mean, he did. Hopefully that's a good omen. But the question, I'm sorry, was it if this loses?
If you were to lose, do you come back in 2012?
Well, you know what? We'll reevaluate. If we, you know, hopefully we won't lose. The polling's very strong for a reason right now across all of Ohio. It's strong because the proposal's the right proposal. It's not a single casino out in a farmland near Dayton. It's not for slots only in racetracks in Cleveland and 2 other cities. It's not for a riverboat on some other river I never even heard of around. It's a well thought out proposal that we think is going to pass and make sense. If it doesn't, I'm not giving up on Cleveland and everything else we're doing here. I'm here for the long haul. We got to win a
championship. To answer Mr. Gilbert's
too.
question, it'll come. He asked when it will come. If not now, when? It will come when Ohioans demand that it comes. But they should demand that it comes correctly. It is no good reason to rush into a flawed proposal that shortchanges Ohio, that is enshrined in the Constitution simply because the economy is bad. I understand that as well as anybody. I understand the thousands of job losses in Ohio, and how I would answer those individuals, I would say, you know what, we can do this. We can do it right, and as if we as Ohioans demand that it's done right, we can do it without selling the state constitution. It was Benjamin Franklin who said those who would trade their liberty for a little bit of temporary security deserve neither and probably will lose both. So the state constitution is not something that we should just take very casually and say, well, we're in a rush, and if we don't do it now, we may never do it. If Ohioans want casinos, they can demand and should demand to the governor and to the state legislature that we want casinos and we want them now, and we should do it in a way that doesn't compromise our Constitution.
You know, I knew Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin was a friend of mine. We actually have the same birthday, and I really studied Benjamin Franklin, and he's a great guy. And I'll tell you what, the point here is this, is that look what happened just a few months ago. The governor, trying to solve a budget issue, went ahead and met with Jeff Jacobs and all his racetrack guys, and they went ahead and tried to put this scheme together to save the budget, and it's going to be $900 million in taxes, and you know we're all going to go have a balanced budget, and life is good. And the Supreme Court said, you can't do that. You need to go to the vote of the people. And oh my gosh, you know, the governor and the vote of the people. The people can actually vote on this. Well, you know what? This kind of issue deserves the vote of the people. There's nothing more democratic, there's nothing more constitutional than saying, hey, Ohio citizens, you go ahead and you vote on this. If they say no, you know, we accept it. We tried our best. We did our proposal. We gambled and lost. Oh well. We'll focus on the championship with the Cavs this year, and Danny Ferry, the pressure goes on him. So, you know, and if not, the Ohio citizens have voted. We'll get to work and we'll build the world-class facilities that won't be the savior of downtowns and it won't be the panacea, but will be another block. I mean, everybody, you know, the problem is the people on the other side of people who want to create, of business people who want to do things and are interested, yes, in profit, but interested in the cities and the urban cores and the places that they want to be, is that they use this approach by saying, well, it's not this, this, and this, and it's not going to save everything. Well, nobody said it was. There is no silver bullet. There is no silver bullet to fixing this this economy and fixing the state and making things right. But we've got a great chance to make a major dent, and let's do it.
Okay. Hold on, guys. Take a break. Grab some water. Get some air. Danny, you can't relax, however. Jan's going to come back up.
Thank you. Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we are listening to a debate between Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert and Youngstown Mayor Jay Williams, who represent opposing views on Issue 3. Now we would like to proceed with the audience question and answer period. Holding the microphones today are City Club Development Director Jessica Allen and Assistant Development Director Marcella Brown. Now let's return to our moderator, Rick Jackson.
Thanks, Jan. As she said, we do now have the traditional City Club question and answer period. It's been lively so far. It's up to you now to make sure it can stay that way. Questions addressed to a specific representative will be answered by him with a 1-minute limit. The other person may also comment for up to 30 seconds. Questions addressed to both will be answered with a 1-minute time limit for each. To the audience, thank you in advance for your cooperation by making your questions questions, stating them as briefly and clearly as possible. First question, please, Jessica.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I have two questions. My first question is for Mayor Williams. Mayor Williams, for the past at least 2.5 years, you've been a very strong advocate for regionalism. If Issue 3 doesn't pass, what impact will it have on the regionalism efforts that many of your campaign has actually been working on with many of your partners in the city of Cleveland and Akron? Then also, to my question to Mr. Gilbert is, many of the casinos in Nevada, I mean, they're losing money. They're not generating as much revenue as they were years ago. Building the casinos here in Ohio, how would you all, what competitive advantage would you have versus some of the casinos that are currently losing money in Nevada and New Jersey?
Thank you. Let's go to the mayor first.
I'm a strong proponent of regionalism, as is Mayor Jackson and so many others who I think are recognizing that we are going to rise and fall as a region. I don't think the failure of Issue 3 will have any impact on regionalism, because what we should be doing is, if Ohioans want casinos, we don't just vote this down and then say, well, that's it, if we indeed want casinos. We go back to the drawing board with Mr. Gilbert and whomever else is interested and put together a proposal that doesn't compromise our state constitution, that doesn't leave an inordinate amount of money on the table, that gets the casino operators their fair share, that keeps dollars in Ohio, that stimulates job growth. That's what we should do. That's what we should do to promote regionalism. So again, we're not trying to stifle the vote on Issue 3. We're saying we believe it's a bad deal that shortchanges Ohio. Let's do something better, but by all means, it needs to be a regional effort. I'm 100% behind regional efforts.
30 seconds, Mr. Gilbert, or you can just go on to the next question.
Okay, well, I think the question was how, Las Vegas is hurting right now. I guess every business in the economy is hurting, and Las Vegas has, I don't even know, 100 casinos. So clearly the fact that there's a handful of casinos that will be here. Yes, you're competing against Michigan and West Virginia and all these other places. So you got to outcompete them, just like the Cavaliers got to outcompete the LA Lakers and the Orlando Magic, right? We're going to have to go out and get the right players and get the right attraction and work with. See, we have a chance here to make this much more than a casino. I mean, we're not in the casino business here. I mean, we want to work with 4th Street, 6th Street. Detroit's having a boom in convention. In all of this, they're having a boom in convention business right now. Why? Because everybody in the world doesn't want to be perceived like they're going to they're going to go to Las Vegas or Hawaii or something. So they, it's a frugal time, it's a tough world, and so they want to go to a Midwest city. Well, guess what the first checkbox is in a cold weather city? Does that city have a casino or not? Because frankly, the patrons and people who come to conventions in cold weather cities want to do that. But we can do more than that here. We got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We can have a medical mart. 4th Street, there's in 6th Street, and the Playhouse area. I mean, the whole theater district. It's just there's so much stuff, and we just got to put it all together and work together, make it much bigger than a casino.
30 seconds.
Cavaliers too, by the way.
Again, this isn't whether we should or should not have casinos. This is about making sure we do it right. And I love the sports analogies that Mr. Gilbert refers to, but the other side of that is when we talk about this market talent, when he went out and secured LeBron James and they're doing these things, he had to pay market value, to secure those contracts. He didn't get to go out and sort of decide, this is how much I'm going to pay you. The market set the forces for the prices that he pays. The market would set the forces should he sell. We're not even going to talk about the Cavaliers, but any of his other franchises. Should he unload those franchises, he would want the market to dictate the prices, not the people buying it. So again, this is not whether we should have or not have casinos. This is about having casinos that make sure that Ohio is able to get the revenue that we all deserve, especially in light of the fact that we're talking about basing this in our state constitution.
You know, hopefully LeBron doesn't watch this nothing personal, but there's a cap, there's a max contract cap